Alright guys, I've shown you the things that I've gotten from the St. Andrews Townwide Yard Sale and the St. Stephen Townwide Yard Sale. So now I went to another small town in this area named St. George, and their Townwide Yard Sale followed a couple weeks later. And let me tell you, I really found some neat stuff there.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age of 50, you don't have to.
This was the first year that I'd gone to the St. George Townwide Yard Sale, and I'm really happy that I went down. For a small town, there are a ton of different yard sales around, and although I didn't get any real gems, I got some stuff that I really been looking for and hadn't been able to find any of the other ones this spring. Anyhow, let's start it off by showing you just a couple of PlayStation 2 games I picked up. A copy of Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, and a copy of Jax 3. Those are great games, and these are in absolutely perfect shape. I paid next to nothing for them, like I think $1 a piece maybe. And yeah, they're not worth an incredible amount, but they're still awfully good condition and nice games to pick up and add to the collection. The next game I picked up wasn't so much because I wanted to play it, but it's for I really did want to collect it. Of course, being a big New England Patriots fan, I had to pick up a copy of Madden 17 with Gronk on the cover when I saw it. They wanted a little bit too much for it, and I beat them down just a little bit for it, but they just didn't know. It's a fairly new game. They're thinking like $50, and so they want $10 for it. I said, well, no, I'll give you like $4, because it was the only one they had. It was just like they didn't have much for stuff there at all for games. So it was worth it to me to pick that up for $4. Gotta love that Gronk spike right there on the cover. The next batch of games that I picked up down at the St. George Townwide Yard Sale are also for the Wii, and they go right along the line of all the different Wii games that I picked up back at St. Stephen the week before. This was just the games though, and I picked up a copy of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Good condition, disc, book, everything's there. I also picked up, I've said it before, I'll say it again, the Lego games. I love Lego games. This one's Pirates of the Caribbean. Again, like usually you see these, they're in hard shape, kids have owned them or whatever, but not this one. This one is absolutely mint. And finally, I picked this game up last week in St. Stephen, but it was only disc only. So this week I managed to pick up a complete in-box copy of The House of the Dead 2 and 3 Return for the Wii. Sort of an unusual, mature title for the Wii, put out by Sega. I love all the Sega games. Of course, I always had a Sega through the 90s, right up through the Dreamcast. I was so sad to see them stop making the Dreamcast. But anyway, it's always good to see these games carry on. And I'm happy to have this complete bronze game now in my collection. Now, I slid down into a trailer park at a dead end of this road, and there's a couple of yard sales down in there. And actually, there was just, I think, 3 or 4 families that sort of had them all in one little spot. And they had a big stack of games there. They weren't games that I collect too much, but this is the time, I think, to really start grabbing these, because this is the time when they're going to be available. Like other games you don't see as much. Even the Xbox, the original PlayStation, the PlayStation 2, you don't see as many of them anymore. But it won't be long before you stop seeing the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. So when I do see them, if there's good games there, I do take a good look and try to pick some up. So I did manage to pick up 8 games for actually I think it was 9 games for $15 or something like that. It was very, very little. The first up, I got a copy of Sonic Generations. Can't go wrong with a Sonic game, again, a Sega title. And then one everybody's heard of, Borderlands 2. This game I'm not all that familiar with. It's a ninja game. I'm not that familiar with it. Tenchu Z. I couldn't resist picking this all up in one big lot. I got Assassin's Creed 3, and Assassin's Creed 2. And what was even funny about it, I remember opening up and looking at the disc. I can't remember which one it's in. This one here, Assassin's Creed 2. I opened it up, and there's that disc, and there's also a copy of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood in it. I said to them, hey, you got an extra game in there, and they said, oh yeah, whatever, it just goes with it. Okay, good enough. Well, I don't have a case and stuff for that one, but I got a copy of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood as well. So, all 3, 1, 2, and 3 for the Assassin's Creed series. This one struck my interest too. I thought it was really neat. It's a copy of Mortal Kombat versus a DC Universe. Very interesting game. Excellent condition. Now this is the Platinum Hits version. But hey, can't beat that. This is one I wasn't familiar with at all. It's an RPG type action game, I believe, Enchanted Arms. I really don't know. It's a first true next-gen role-playing adventure, it's called. I haven't looked up any reviews for it. I haven't tried it out yet. But very interesting, and not a game that I've seen very many places. So to see it in this great shape, if it wasn't for the writing right on the cover here, but I think that's just on the plastic box anyway, so I'll probably just switch that out. Enchanted Arms. Very happy to have that in my collection. The last game for the Xbox 360 that I picked up in this lot is Batman Arkham Origins. I've got the original Batman games. I think there's 2 before this one. There's more than that probably. I don't know. But I did not have a copy of this. So 2-disc set. Both discs look great. Manual is there for what it is. It's just a couple pages. And very happy to add a great Batman game into my collection. Now, I just got done saying how hard it is now to find some of the older generation games, and I'm not even talking Nintendo and stuff. I'm talking PS1, PS2 somewhat. The original Xbox I'm not finding as much anymore, and you're seeing more of the PS3 and the Xbox 360 and stuff. Well, I went into one place, and I asked if they had any games, because I found 1 or 2, and they went inside, and they found a couple more. So what I managed to get was some original PS1 games. Started off with Greatest Hits Sledstorm. I love Sledstorm. It's actually a really fun game. I can remember playing it, renting it back in the day. It's certainly nothing too fancy, but it's kind of almost the combination. You could change it for a boat game. It would be the exact same type of physics in it. Kind of neat, though. I really do enjoy that game. Next, we have one I'm really not all that familiar with, ATV Mania. Again, these people must have liked their racing games, because it's just like, it looks like a kart racer type game. Probably just a more of a shovelware type. Gotham Games, whoever that is. But we'll check it out. It's in really good shape. The manuals are perfect. The discs look really good. How do you beat that? The last PS1 game, all-time classic. I love it. Again, I said they're into racing. Crash Team Racing. So if you're going to have a kart racing game, you might as well have the real kart racing game. And this is pretty hot now with it just coming out on the Switch. I think it came out just like the last day or 2. But reviews on it. But this one, I remember watching some of the gameplay from the Switch version, and yeah, I'm sure it's more crisp, more clear, but this had pretty good graphics, and it was just so much fun to play. Crash Team Racing. I played through the whole thing back in the day, and might sit down and do it again. So my last big pickup from the St. George Town Wide Yard Sale was pretty interesting. I stopped at this place sort of on a highway road, and they're set up out the end of the driveway, and there was an older lady and obviously her granddaughter there. And I looked around a little bit, and then I asked if they had any video games. And about that same time, it looked like probably the son of the older lady, the father of the little girl, was walking out, and his mother told me, said, well, he might have some games in there. And the guy got talking to me about him having been trying to sell some games, and he collected NES on eBay. So I asked him, hey, do you want to show me what you got? Well, he went and he brought it all out, and he wanted a lot for the whole lot, but I picked out quite a few games that I was really happy with and really wanted to get. And I got a couple other things too for, like, I don't know, it was $25 or $30. Wasn't very much money, Canadian money, remember? But he sold me these following games. First up, RC Pro-Am. That is an absolute classic game. I love this game, whether it's on the Genesis or the Nintendo. Absolutely fantastic game. Such great physics in it. I can remember playing that back in the 90s and trying to get through all the different levels, and it's kind of frustrating after a while because you think you got that beat. All you do is finish, 1, 2, or 3, and you keep going on, and something spins you out, and you lose right at the very end. But anyway, it's a lot of fun. Not an expensive game by any stretch, but just a real high-quality game. Next up, I got a Styanax. I'm not all that familiar. I've watched some gameplay on it. Of course, an action-adventure type game. A lot of fun. I had a copy of it, so I'm going to use this as trade bait for it. Try to pick up some other games that I don't have. But at the end of the day, when I had the opportunity to add a great game like this into my collection, because you just don't see it often enough, I grabbed it. Next up, I got a couple of Tengen games. Got Gauntlet and I got Rolling Thunder. I've got quite a few of the Tengen games now. I can remember playing them back in the day and actually thinking that the Tengen games are pretty high quality, frankly. They used to have Super Sprint and Pac-Man and Tetris. I remember my brother-in-law had Tetris, and I don't know where it went. I think it got sold. I wish I still had that one today. But anyway, I always like to add the Tengen games. I'm not all that familiar with Rolling Thunder. Of course, Gauntlet, everybody knows Gauntlet. I do remember how much of a great version this was on the NES, and I played it lots back in the day. Rolling Thunder, I got to check that one out. Just don't know much about it, but it's always great to add great Tengen games into the collection. Next up is a Capcom game that's got that same style as the original Mega Man, the same design on the art, cover art label. And I got a copy of Section Z. Now, Section Z is always kind of interesting. It's the one with the person shoot 'em up, horizontal shoot 'em up, with the person flying in the suit, shooting the bugs or whatever like that. I don't know. It's a lot of fun to play. I've only played it a couple times, frankly. I did not have this when I was a kid, but at the end of the day, I love adding these Capcom games to my collection. And last but not least, probably the game that made this batch for me, I got a copy of Punch-Out! It's not the Mike Tyson version. I had the Mike Tyson's version. I'd never have had or played even this one with who is it? Not Macho King or whoever the final guy is that you play against. It's not Mike Tyson. Basically, it's the same game, just with different characters in it, or a different character in it. But I was so happy to pick that up and find it. Frankly, I didn't pay for the whole works what you would pay for this in many different places. So I was really happy. Thought it was a really great find, and it shows you why it pays when you go into a yard sale to ask if they have anything, because I had to go into the house to get these for me to show them to me. Anyway, really happy to pick it up. Alright guys, that's it for my pickups from the St. George Townwide Yard Sale. And what a great batch of pickups. I got some NES games, some Wii games, some PlayStation 2, PS1, Xbox 360. What a great assortment. Anyway, thanks a lot for spending a little bit of time with me today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time, guys. Take care.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up,
You're watching Papa Pete, the old guy gamer.
what the hell?